Hey everyone, it's Tesla Tom here. Thank you so much for joining us today. I am reviewing a new product for Tesla Model 3 and Model Y, which I'm going to install in my brand new black Tesla Model 3 rear-wheel drive. This is the Teslogic display using your own smartphone or smart device for Tesla Model 3, Model Y, and it's $195 US, and there's an additional wireless charging kit as well for an extra $40 US. So check that out. I'll leave details in the video description below as always. Okay, so let's have a look. So that's the box that it comes in. Let's make Tesla even better. Yes, it's already pretty good, but let's make it even better. Teslogic. So inside the box, you will see QR codes for the app, which we'll go through as well once we install it, and also the manuals too, and some videos there to help you install it. And inside we've got, let's see, a wiring harness loom, which we will show you how to install in a moment. And also a little receiver box to the car to get some real-time data for telemetry as you drive. And then a mounting kit for your smartphone device behind the steering wheel. And then this is basically, if you don't have a MagSafe phone, this helps you mount I guess the magnet to your phone behind the case, or even behind the phone if you don't have a case, and that helps you attach it to the mount as you drive. So yeah, that's just in case you don't have a MagSafe phone. And then a good old orange pry tool as well. And then inside this additional box, if you choose to pay an extra $40 for the charging kit, which I would highly recommend if you're going to use this all the time. You don't want to run your battery down from your smart device, your smartphone. So inside you get the MagSafe kit or charger. There's the magnet, that's the USB-C into your car. And in case you have the older style USB-A port, then that's what it comes in, a little converter there, or adapter. And then a right angle USB-C if you want to make it more low profile, right there. So the Teslogic binnacle or display is basically compatible with all variants of Model 3, Model Y. Just make sure you select the right variant when you purchase this device. Okay, so let's do this. You might have heard that little bang coming from the car, and that is the CAN bus shutting down, because I do highly recommend switching your vehicle off. So go to Controls, Safety, and then scroll the way down. It says Power Off. So do that. Wait about 3 or 4 minutes until you hear that bang, and that means that the car is off. Okay, so next thing is to make sure you've got plenty of room. Give yourself plenty of space, and also make sure you've got some sort of light source, whether it be a minus light you can wear on your head or some sort of torch you can hang on to at the same time. Okay, so now on with the installation. So the first step is to peel back this rubber seal from your car. So I'm going to do this one-handed, and you want to aim for this bit down here, right? So don't go too far up here, but so aim for down here. That's where the dash basically meets the door, and you just literally just pull out like that, and you'll see that rubber seal just start to pull off, and just work your way down here. You can see it just come away very easily. You're not damaging the car, don't worry. It goes back on very, very easily afterward. And you want to get to this gap here, right? So basically, after the C controls, this little gap, and then that should be enough exposure. Okay, next step is to remove this panel here. For this, you will need that pry tool. So that's the pry tool that came with the Teslogic product. And again, I'll try to do this one-handed. And you just slip it in there and just want to separate this panel away from the rest of the trim. Now, it can be terrifying if you've not pulled apart the Tesla before, but as you can see, most things are just snap-on like that, and it is all plastic, so just be careful. It is, strong enough, but just obviously be really careful when you pull this apart, and just be firm but gentle at the same time. And same with this bit, and just pull out like that. It should just slip out. So there we are. Let's put that to one side, and then you'll start to see the inner workings of the vehicle there pop out between this trim and the rest of the car. So the next step is to use the pry tool once again, that ubiquitous, fantastic pry tool, and you just slip it in that gap there where the piston is. Okay, so in that hole, on that gap, and then just lift it out, and that's all you need to do, and it should help slip out the piston. So there it is, that's the part there. So pull that to one side as well. And then now you want to separate this panel from the rest of the vehicle. Right, it's this whole bit that goes all the way to the gap we saw earlier. Now this is actually not too bad, but once again there are joins, like they're all plastic joins, so snap-on fastens. And again, I'll try and do this with one hand if I can. So same thing, just pull it out like this very gently. And this, just showing you now, this panel goes all the way down here. See that, where my hand goes? So that's the same panel, just where the pedals are and underneath the floor mat. And if I do this correctly, it should just slip out like this. So again, one-handed, sorry everyone. I'll just zoom out a little bit here. Okay, one hand. See, hear that? That means the plastic fastens are coming up. There we go. It's a good sound. This one too, up here. Okay, I think we're winning, and that should just slip out, and yes it does. There we go. I did that with one hand, everyone, so you should be able to do it with two hands. Okay, so now we can see the inner workings of the CAN bus and the vehicle. So important points here are this one here, this white join, and also this empty blue socket. So they're the two important points, and I'll put the camera down and show you how to connect the harness to it. Okay, so if you reached this point, congratulations, you've basically done the hardest part of the installation. Again, focus on this one here, this connection, and then this blue empty socket we discussed earlier. So now you want to disconnect this one, and this requires, once again, the orange pry tool. How good is this tool? The easiest way I found to do this is put the pry tool under there, that fasten there, and if you've got another pry tool, that'd be great. Otherwise, just use your finger to push that clasp, and it should just slip out like that. So there we go, see how that slips out. More importantly, do not pull this from the wire. And that's a general rule. Do not pull anything from wires because you don't want to damage the connection from the wire to the chips. So just pull that out, and there we go. That's all you need to do. When I say chips, I mean the, whatever the connection is down here. Okay, so that is, again, probably the second hardest part. And then this is the wiring harness that comes with the Teslogic. Important points once again. So you've got the bypass here. I call it the bypass for this socket here. This one. This is where this bit comes into play. And then this fatter white plug goes into this blue socket here. And then this black one goes into the receiver, which I'll do at the very end once we are all happy and connected. Okay, so first step is to grab this one, which you just pulled out of here, and put it into this thin, small white socket. That should just slip in like that. Click, done. Next thing is to, I'll try not to block the vision, guys, sorry. And next step is to basically the other end of this bypass, which you just connected into. You want to push it into that one, hence the bypass, there. And then this fatter plug, and they're all pretty straightforward. They all look very different, so you won't mix them up. This one, I just push these wires in. What I love about these installations is that they're reversible, right? So anything reversible, I'm happy to review, because, in case you want to sell a vehicle or Tesla are a bit worried about the installation for whatever reason, and it won't void your warranty because it's all reversible. You're not doing anything to the car, you're just monitoring, you're reading the telemetry. This bit just slips in like that, and click, you're done. That is it, everyone. That's about as easy as it gets. And then from here, I'll just tidy the wires up so they don't get in the way of anything, especially when you put everything back together. So that's all tidied up there. And then this final bit, this is the victory plug. Well, not literally, but I'm happy because, I'll try and get this focus, yeah. So that's basically means you're almost at the end of the installation. And then this one goes into the Teslogic receiver. There it is there. At the bottom of it, you'll see a plug. So that goes in there, and easy as you like. Boom. That is it. That is the receiver plugged into the vehicle. And then I'll just bring the camera down here. This is where you tuck the receiver into, at least this is what the videos tell me. I'll just make sure there is room, and yes, I can see there is room. So I'll just make sure I don't block you. Just down here, just where my finger is down here. I'll just lift it up for you. Just down in that recess, there is a little pocket for it, thankfully. So let's slip that. I'll just lift up the carpet a little bit there. And yeah, look at that. That's like perfect. I'm hoping that doesn't rattle too much. I'll let you know during my drive if it does. But that is where it'll sit. I guess you can always put some I don't know, double-sided sticky tape or blue tack or whatever, just to keep it still if it does, but I don't know, I don't think it will. Looks pretty secure in there. Okay, so that's it, everyone. That is the majority of the installation done. So now I'm going to focus on putting everything back together, and then we'll test the Teslogic. Okay, so before you put everything back together, I suggest that you download the Teslogic app and just make sure that everything works. It is via Bluetooth connection, so obviously make sure you've got Bluetooth connected as well and paired. And yeah, so there we go. That is it. That is the Teslogic screen, which we'll go through when we do a test drive. But yep, looks like everything is working as it should be. And yeah, it's even got details about my Model 3 LFP Standard Plus. And there's the VIN, and there's the birthday from Gigafactory Shanghai, 17th of March 2023. So yeah, about 2 months ago. And yeah, it was produced at 324. Interesting. For the Australian market, black, odometer 92 kilometers, which correlates, so amazing. And you can also play with the preferences as well. So let's put everything back together and do the rest of the installation, and we'll go through the app. Okay, so now I'm going to guide you on how to put the panels back, because the installation guides, you know, a lot of the reviews that you see probably show you how to pull it apart, but they may not necessarily show you how to put it back. So this is me going one step further. So this is a little, see that little tab there? That goes in this tab here. And similarly, the tab up the top here, there we go, that tab goes in that tab up the top. So we want to aim for those two tabs. Okay, I'm pretty happy that's slotted in, and it feels good. Again, if it feels good, it's probably right with these things. Okay, so that is pretty good. That's pretty flush there. And then just moving down here now, you can see it's almost flush. So once again, see how I was talking about those plastic tabs in there? Just literally just push in. Boom. Again, if it feels good, it means it's probably right. And again, just double checking my work. Yep, that's all flush with the carpet underneath the floor mat, and that's flush up against the rest of the car. And now the final job for this panel, but anyway, is to put that piston thingy back in that hole like that, and make sure that's is sticking out first before you do this. You see how that's sticking out there, right? So make sure that's in the up position before you put it back in this hole here. I'll try and do this one-handed for you. Okay, so the piston is in the hole, and it's as easy as just pushing it back into place, and you can see now the entire panel is secure. It's as if you were never here. This never happened. Okay, next step is to put this panel back, and you'll see once again at the back of it, you'll see some tabs, that tab there, and then this tab, and that tab, and the one down the bottom. So they all correlate to what you can see there, one up the top, one there, and another little one here on the side. So there we go. So same thing, one-handed. I recommend probably doing the inside track first. Just give yourself room to do the bottom as well. And once you are in, like that, it should just, this one you can sort of fit a little bit. Again, just be gentle. One-handed again, everyone, sorry about this. There we go, I'm in the bottom there, now I'm in the side, and now I'm in the top, so boom. I am in, and that's what it looks like. Does stick out a little bit there, but it is flush on this edge. You heard the nice satisfactory booms or clicks, and that's up the top, that's nice and flush. And finally, just put the rubber seals back, and again, you'll see on the bottom of the rubber seal, it's sort of recessed like that, right, down there, and they sort of sit in this metal bit, metal line, so just align up like that, and should just naturally come back into position. Just run your hand like that, up there. Again, I'm doing this one-handed. Okay, almost there. And this final bit, if you see any bunching like that, just gently manipulate back like that, and just push this top bit like that, and give it some bit of a push. That little click, that means it is happy days, and yeah, that looks pretty good now. It's pretty much flush with the door and the A-pillar, and it's like you were never there, so I'm happy. Okay, so here's the back of the steering wheel. There it is there. And I'll be installing the mount behind here, so I'll find the center position, and then I'll be sticking also the wireless charging, what do you call this thing, ring as well onto the mount, and then sticking it onto the part behind the steering wheel. Okay, so importantly, if you've got the wireless charging kit included, or as an additional extra, make sure you feed the cable through this hole first before you mount it, just to make everything look neat and tidy, like that. Okay, and before you stick the wireless charging pad down, make sure you've got the correct magnetic side up. Just test it with your MagSafe phone first before you do that. Okay, so this next step is pretty critical. When you mount the wireless charging accessory to the Teslogic mount, or when you stick it back rather, you make sure that your phone is on at the same time so that you, or the device that you'll be using, can actually sit onto the mount perfectly. Because if you don't, and if you mount it like a bit off, then the phone or the device you're using may not sit on the mount. So do that first, and once you're happy, then stick it on, and then you can mount it behind the steering wheel. And then same thing when you're mounting it to the steering wheel or behind the steering wheel, make sure the phone is on as well at the same time, so that way when you stick it down, you can actually see the phone behind the steering wheel before you stick it down. Okay, and there we are. I have mounted the Teslogic device behind the steering wheel, and this is set exactly to my height and preference, so the most you can do is probably rotate your phone a little bit like that, but you can't bring it up and down once you've stuck it down, so make sure you're happy. I guess at most you can also adjust your steering wheel position if you're not happy. If you want it exactly perfect, see that? I'm just rolling it down, I can see a bit more. I'm seeing less there as well. So yeah, that's one way to adjust it. And of course, my concern is that being a stick-on mount, I always worry that it might fall off, particularly with the hot sun here in Australia, but it is 3M, so I guess it's as good as it will get. I guess we'll see what happens during the warmer months in Australia, but I'm confident it will stay on most of the time. Hopefully all the time. Okay, so the final part of the installation now is to just tuck the charging cable, which is this one here that runs to the Teslogic, down. You can make this as tight as you want, and then you can just slip it under this bit here between the center console of the car and this panel down here. So again, using this fantastic pry tool, I'm just going to run the wire in that slot and just tuck it with the pry tool up and just run it back. And I'll show you where I'm going to run it. Okay, so I've installed the wire all the way from the mount. See that, just sticking out there. Oop, there it is. And then just running down below the steering wheel and just tucked in there, and then just runs along the back here and comes out here. I've got another accessory there, another wireless phone charger. That's why there's two cables. And there it is there, that runs along here, just beneath the air conditioning vents, and to that right angled connection to the USB-C ports in the back. That's why it looks nice and flush, low profile. There's the other phone mount there, connected to at the same time. And there we are, so that is it, nice and tidy install. Alright, and I guess all that's left to do now is to go for a test drive. And just to prove to you that the wireless charging cable is charging as well. There it is, the green symbol. So it's definitely working. Okay, so just before we go for a drive, I thought I'd just run through the app really quickly. Let's go through the preferences. So theme, you can have auto, you can have day mode, night mode. You can have low vision mode, large text for the main dashboard. So let's have a look at what it's like now. So that's what it looks like with the large vision on, or low vision, and then you can have it on just normal mode, which is like this. So a bit more information, but the gears and the speedometer is a bit smaller. So up to you. And you've got large font in notifications on and off. I think that is for text messages and phone calls, I think. I'll have to double check as I learn more about this app. Show notifications at the top of the screen. A heads-up display mode, interesting. You might be able to install an aftermarket mirror or something to reflect. So if I just show you what that means, so have it on like that. Yeah, see now how everything's reversed. So potentially you could have a mirror maybe here, or if you install them out somewhere else and then reflect up on the screen. So yeah, we'll see whether I can find something to maybe show you later on in another video to get that working. And then screens here, tap to enable, disable, long tap and drag to change order. So if you don't want to see all the screens as you flick through, then you can tap this on and off if you want these screens as you flick between them. You can long tap and drag to order around. So for example, if you want that you know, at the beginning, because that's important, obviously. Then you can have that at the start. Yep, so that's good to know. Yep, and then navigation preferences, horizontal widgets in navigation, and routing type is fastest or shortest, depending. Miscellaneous, speed limit warning threshold, 10 km/h, arc around speedometer, okay. Change screens with right steering wheel button, enabled when not on AP, so you can change using the right steering wheel button. And nerd mode only, speedo correction. Range, use Teslogic range calculator. Calculate range using drive style and temperature data. Let's see whether it's any good. Show battery temperature, new battery widget. Yeah, okay, why not? Let's see, nerd mode. Yes, I'm a nerd. Enable canned filters, debug window, recording logs disabled, all that stuff. Okay. So that's what happens when you first turn on the app, like that. Connects via Bluetooth. Okay, so let's go through them. So this is the telemetry screen. Obviously we'll do a drive and we'll give you more information about that. You can see information on the odometer there. Energy usage, the range currently is 203 kilometers predicted in the city. Highway is 271. So that's cool, because that is using the range prediction from Teslogic. If you don't have that, then you could just have the normal rated range. So that's actually quite handy. Might put that on. I like that. And then information about my car. So this is the Model 3 Standard Plus, LFP, Australian market. That's my VIN. Solid black, built 17th of March in Gigafactory, Shanghai, China. Odometer 113 kilometers. It's a hardware 3 Autopilot computer. Someone asked that, I think, in the comments previously. Boombox version 2 installed. Pay-as-you-go supercharging. 3-phase 16 amps onboard charger. 279 horsepower. TPMS sensors is Bluetooth. Interesting, I didn't know that. Battery type. Overall health has been charged. 1 cycle so far has been good. Degradation minus 1.1% in green. I think this is actually erroneous, because you look at the max capacity when new. I've certainly shown this before in the Scan My Tesla and OBD adapter Bluetooth device, that the lithium batteries generally tend to settle down to a lower level. And that's certainly been shown in Joy's Tesla Model Y, that the max available capacity is normally over than the max or nominal capacity to start with when this car is new. So this car is only 2 days old from delivery. As time goes on, I'll keep using this app, and it'll probably drop down below 60.5 and settle at around, I reckon, 55, whenever the usable is. No, maybe 57. I think 57 is usable for the 60 kilowatt LFP battery. So in lieu of the Scan My Tesla app and the OBD adapter, I'm going to use this from now on, because this has got all the information we need, and that's plugged into the CAN bus port too. So very handy, this device and app. 7 kilowatt hour emergency buffer below 0%, that's good to know. And there's cell imbalance of 4 millivolts, which is in the green, so I assume that's a good thing. Total charged 66 kilowatt hours so far over the life of this battery. 38% of the time has been charged using DC fast chargers. And 73% wasted charged energy stationary. I think that's because this car probably dropped while it was waiting either in the ship or on the dock. So they do spend a bit of time on the docks here in Australia, and obviously overseas on the waters coming from China. So I think as time goes on, that should hopefully drop as I charge this car more and more. So we'll certainly keep an eye on that. 42% of the time, this car's driving energy has been saved with regen braking, which is great. Hopefully we'll keep that nice and high. Lifetime daily consumption is only 2 days old, but 0.9 kilowatt hours per day. And lifetime energy driving, 159. We'll try and keep that nice and low as well. Keeping in mind, I do use this, sometimes to sit in the car with the AC on, or, just mucking around with the car and installing accessories, that kind of thing for the channel. And also we've got aftermarket wheel covers as well, which are not as efficient as the OEM aero caps from Tesla, so keep that in mind. And you can also export all this data as well using that share button. So we'll go for a drive and go through all this stuff, but now we've got battery temperature there, power is very limited, and more telemetry as we're driving too. And this stuff is really cool, so more information as we drive too, but currently 68% state of charge, which is actually different to the car's thing, 63%. So I wonder whether it's because the maximum available is higher than the max battery pack of the car, just because it's so new. as time goes on. We'll see whether that drops or matches rather with the current battery state of charge, or it could also reflect the buffer as well, the battery reserve buffer. So we'll see. I'll keep you guys posted as you keep watching the channel. 23 degrees is the battery temperature, because currently outside is 15 degrees, so it's not external, it's actually the battery temperature. Current kilowatts, so it's using 0.4 kilowatts currently to distribute to the climate at 0.2, and also just other stuff at 0.2, whether it's just actually charging the phone as well. So that's sort of split half and half between the two at the moment. 3.4 kilowatt hours used so far. Okay, so that's navigation, that's where we are currently. Yeah, you can see the telemetry as well. As we're driving, I'll show you a bit more of that. And that's it. So that's it while we're idle and stationary, and I'll show you now what happens when we drive. Okay, so I'm going to screen record so you can see what I'm doing. Okay, so we are recording, hopefully, and I do recommend probably putting your brightness up a little bit as well, particularly if you've got a screen protector. Okay, seatbelt is on, and we will now drive off, and I've got it on just the normal vision, so we might switch over to normal vision as well, or to low vision a bit later on too, just so you've got an idea. Alright, so, no, looks good now. Okay, so reverse. So let's go, pop into drive. So you can see hopefully that the speedometer correlates pretty well with the screen there, my main screen on the car. Look how cool that is with the indicators. Love it. Okay, so that is indicating on the right there. You can see also the battery regen versus power consumption, right? So here's the power. Then hopefully I'll make this light. Then you'll see as I regen, see that? The green just comes back like that. So that's pretty cool. I enjoy that. You can see consumption there currently obviously quite high because we just started the vehicle. That should come down. And the motor power's 52 horsepower, current trip, range, predicted city and highway. Interesting, more on the highway. And then the odometer there in the corner. For the time, if you want that on 24-hour time, you just press it. There you go. 12-hour versus 24-hour time. So if you want that PM, or if you're happy with just, takes a few presses there. We'll try to engage speed, cruise control and autopilot as well as we hit the freeway.
100 meters, enter the roundabout and take the first exit.
Oop, ambulance. Freaked me out. But yeah, we'll put it on low vision mode in a second, but you can flick between screens there as you're driving. Probably don't need that one, but this is quite fun. I think that's the G-force meter on the left. And then you've got the horsepower on the right. It'd be nice if that was kilowatts, actually. At least it's in metric units there with kilometers. I guess it matches the screen, your main screen of your car. Battery temperature, good telemetry, normal. Power not limited, that's great, because we're on. And this is cool, this bit. You can see all the telemetry for motor. I guess now you can see horsepower. Oh, sorry, now you can see kilowatts, not horsepower. So you can see what the rear motors are doing. I assume if you've got an all-wheel drive vehicle, then you can see what the rear and the front motors are doing. That's pretty nifty. Climate control's on, battery heating nothing at the moment, or not much because, or a little bit, but not much because we're not about to charge. But it'd be interesting to see if we come up to like a supercharger, right? To see whether it does show all the heating. So I guess we'll do that another day. We'll do some preconditioning as we go up to a Tesla supercharger. Love the indicators on this, it's fantastic. You can see the total power output. Getting all that exhaust. Is that exhaust or dust being kicked up by the car in front? Anyway. Okay, and yeah, this one shows you, again, we've done that one. I think that's G-force on the left. And then, yeah, back to, oh yeah, so that's Google Maps. I haven't been able to work out navigation just yet. So, I guess the next video I'll do, once I get in touch with Teslogic, work out how to do some navigation with Google Maps. One thing I would say, this what would make it perfect is if it had Waze. People that watch my channel will know that I love Waze. Obviously, you could just use Waze like natively, right? But if you had Waze integrated with the telemetry from this Teslogic app, it would just be absolutely perfect. So, Teslogic, if you're watching, if your developers can get on that, that would be fantastic. All right, so go back to preferences and just put it on low vision mode. That way I can show you what it looks like. For those of you who want the speedometer bigger, that's what you get. That is what you get. So, yeah, that's not bad actually. You can clearly see the numbers there, right? Like, there's been complaints about how small the telemetry is on the screen here, but this just makes it next level. This is just awesome. It's huge. You lose a little bit having such a big screen here, a big number, but you still get the current trip distance and average speed. The odometer's still there, and you still get the posted speed signs as well. So that is still pretty cool. Okay, so heading back onto the freeway, and I will just give you an idea of what it's like to engage Autopilot with the Teslogic on. Let's speed up a little bit here. So I think this green one is about the speedometer, this green arc. You still see the battery state of charge and the temperature there, which is cool. Okay, merging in. Okay, cool. Okay, so we'll just hit 110 now, and then we just engage let's engage Autopilot. Double tap right stalk. That's what it looks like, and scroll down like that to match the, you can just either scroll down or you can right stalk, tap down. It'll match the speed limit, right? So once again, roll up to go up or down, roll down to go down, and then right stalk, hold for 2-3 seconds. You see there, 110 back to the posted speed sign. So yeah, that's what it looks like with Autopilot on. Very good. And what do you think of the glare? Any glare at all? A little bit. Yeah, the sun's coming just across my screen, but I can still see that pretty well. I like it. I like it a lot, actually. I must say, this is one of the better binnacle or display behind the steering wheel that I've seen in all my reviews so far for the channel. And it's actually relatively easy, as you saw. You don't have to pull apart the car too much. You see how there was a bit of a red arc, right, when I went over the posted speed sign? So interesting, a bit of a warning there for you if you're driving past the speed limit. There must be a oh yes, that's right, we went through that. There's a threshold. If you go over 10, it'll flash red. So that's a nice little visual warning for you. Now, apparently you can scroll with the wheel if you're not on Autopilot, so let's see. Yes. There you go. I don't have to touch the phone. That's handy, isn't it? That's if you're not on Autopilot, so I'll just double check that. Autopilot. Yeah, so that's, cool. We can see the following distance between the leading car there. So it goes back to that, so that's handy. And if I take Autopilot off, then I can flick between. Oh, this app, seriously, I love it, honestly. Like, I know this is sponsored and everything, but still, I have to say, like, all the other stuff I've done is sponsored too, so this is actually pretty good. I do enjoy it. All right, everyone, that comes to the end of the video. Yeah, a bit long, but look, I thought I had to make it long to really give you an idea of what it's really like to drive with this device, and honestly, I think it's worth it. If you really want that display behind your steering wheel, this is one of the better ones. So check it out. Again, coupon code TeslaTom will give you 10% off this product. I'll leave the link to Teslogic in the video description below. Thanks for watching. Until next time on Ludicrous Feed, happy charging.